Experience. I'm Chris Nadano,
I'm Brad Del-isen.
and this week we'll be discussing martial arts, a subject we can actually comment on, as I have 5 years of Shotokan Karate Do experience.
And I have 2 years of Taekwondo experience, 1 year of Krav Maga, and a little bit of Wing Chun. So today we're going to talk about three main subjects relating to martial arts: philosophies, application, and exercise.
Overall, just the pros and cons of martial arts itself. Philosophies. Each and every single martial art comes with its own disciplines, teachings, and lessons. Now, these same lessons can be applied not just in the practice area, but also to the real world as well. For me, I'd have to talk about the Dojo Kun. Seek perfection of character, be faithful, endeavor, respect others, and refrain from violent behavior. Now, I've had to use these experiences throughout my life. These lessons shaped me into who I am. When I was little, I used to be very angry at a lot of things. I was a disrespectful child, but then martial arts put me on my own path. It disciplined me to actually respect others and care about what my elders had to say because these were the same people who were teaching me and also beating me up in the process.
Relating to what you said, martial arts has definitely helped me and made me who I am today in a really big impact, specifically self confidence and humility. Before martial arts, I was always that shy kid in the corner of the classroom. I had a hard time communicating and it was really hard for me. I didn't know what to do sometimes, especially when the teacher would call me up, I would shake and I would get very nervous. And because of martial arts, that really taught me how to get self confidence. And even to this day, I may still get nervous, but I don't have as much trouble. And that's not the only thing. Martial arts taught me humility. I got to a point where, oh, I know this move, so I can walk around and I have the mindset of I can beat you up, I can beat you. So I was very arrogant. And after sparring some higher level opponents, I learned humility from that.
To add on your points about humility, well, you say that knowing your moves made you arrogant, but in our dojo, being arrogant would also end up getting beat up a lot because the arrogant people were the first to go into fights and the first to get beat up by the higher ups. But at the same time, these higher ups and the pain that they gave us taught us faster than what would we would normally learn from just practicing the moves on our own. At the same time, not just humility, our dojo also taught us work ethic because we were taught to keep on going until you can't keep going anymore. Prime example of this would be belt testing. I remember a prime example would be my brown belt testing. We had to fight every single person in the dojo until we couldn't fight anymore. Now, I believe the reason for this was so the sensei could see what we were lacking, but at the same time, this also taught us that we needed to keep on going. We needed to prove our worth.
I definitely have to agree with work ethic. Definitely, there are people out there who are arrogant and take advantage of that, especially different people from different backgrounds. Like, there's multiple martial arts out there where some people are raised so that, oh, because I am from boxing, I'm better than a karate person. And people from, say, karate, they say, no, I'm better than people from taekwondo. But in reality, it's not about the skill or the talent of the person that makes a great martial artist. It's the spirit. We can relate this to Bruce Lee. For him, he was never a black belt at anything. He never even finished his Wing Chun training. He only reached, I believe, the level 2 system. And this man was able to go out, and because of his great spirit, he was able to beat karate black belts. That goes to show he was very ahead of his time. He was like 7 years ahead of his time. He was already the first to combine martial arts. And that goes to show that it's the spirit. It's what you do with the martial art that makes you great. It's how you apply it. It's how you use it in your life that makes you.
You say it's how you apply martial arts that what makes you great, but then that also brings us to our next point, application. Now, there are some people out there who decide not to use their teachings for good, but rather to harass others. And then there's also the times when martial arts can make you effective at other disciplines and sports.
I really like what you said. We can apply martial arts in different sports. Like, for example, right now, I'm not really invested in martial arts as I used to be. Right now, I'm more of a dancer, and I found out that because of my experience in martial arts, I was able to use like different footworks and like movements, and I applied some like methods with your body, and I applied that to dancing, and it really helped out. Not just through dancing, but in like anything that had to relate with physical movement. I got good because of martial arts. Martial arts taught me how to stay fast, strong, stay strong. But also, especially, I saw an increased height in my reflexes. Back then, I would probably have a really hard time catching a really fast football in the air, but now this time I can actually catch it without any struggle. Also, not only is martial arts beneficial for other sports or other areas of like physical, anything physical, but some people they only join a martial art just for, let's say, a reputation boost. Say someone only wanted to join martial arts because they wanted to be a black belt, and once they reach that black belt rank, they're not actually that good of a black belt because they only care about the rank. They only care about how the black belt fits them. And then there's other people out there, the other half, who join a martial art for a reason. They join it because of a past experience. They join it because of, oh, I really want self confidence. They do it because they want to improve their life. And once they become a black belt, they actually have the skills. Those are the two different types of fighters that will usually be produced, the arrogant ones and the ones who are hard workers.
Now, martial arts can also be applied to exercise as well. It's a good cardio exercise for one. We do a lot of jumping around, such as jump rope, and we would hop around during sparring a lot because it would keep us fast on our feet. Not only this, but we would sometimes have to run laps around the teaching center just to help us build up our cardio to last longer in fights. Not just that, but stretching was also a very key role because if you couldn't do the movements, you couldn't fight. I remember times in which our black belts, the higher ranks, they would help us stretch by teaching us new moves involving gravity. Gravity would help us a lot during stretches such as putting our legs up against the wall. That way, the gravity would help pull our legs down and increase our flexibility within our legs and helping us kick better. Those listening interested in joining martial arts, there are certainly many pros to joining. For one, it's a good exercise, as we stated before. It can help build up your cardio. It's good for stretching, and even better for conditioning you to resist pain. Not just this, but it also gives you philosophy, a new mental aspect to respecting others, to believing in yourself and continuing on.
Not only just beliefs and exercise, but application and perspective. So, doing martial arts, you could see the world in a different way. Maybe you used to be an arrogant kid, maybe you're a very timid, shy person, but martial arts can teach you that there's other sides to things, that you have to understand people before taking an action. Think before you act. And also the application. Maybe you learn something in martial arts, maybe that'll help you in a different sport like basketball, maybe a footwork move helped you, or cardio in general, maybe you helped you stay fit.
Now, there are also many cons to martial arts as well, such as it gives bad people the necessary lessons and power to influence other people. And not just this, it's also time consuming. It takes years of dedication just to move up the ranks, and it takes hours and hours away from your week, which could be used to do something more productive.
And also the risk of injury. As we know, recently this summer there's a boxer that died because of a boxing match, and the ref didn't notice, the medics didn't notice, and shows that martial arts definitely has some injuries out there that can lead to life-threatening disasters in the future. And relating to bad people in power, that also relates to the perspective, the way someone sees or views martial arts, or how they will apply it in the future. If they see it as, oh, I'm going to use it so I could have more power over people and abuse it, then that definitely creates some negativity. And along with the fact of time management, maybe you're busy with school projects, but you really want to invest time in martial arts. Maybe martial arts you take is takes 5 years to reach one of the high levels. So maybe it's something like that. So today we have a very special guest.
quite experienced himself. He's the man, the myth, the legend,
Oh.
Michael Pangilinan.
Yo, that's me. Hi, my name is Michael Pangilinan. I'm a black belt in Shotokan Karate Do Karate.
Ooh.
And I've got experience with Sensei Ron.
We're gonna relate that back to our topic. We're gonna ask you some questions.
Okay.
Our first one's gonna be, how has martial arts disciplined you?
The first thing you really think about with martial arts is that these people have control, right? These people, they want to do, they want to avoid fighting at all costs. That's really a main topic that my sensei always goes to teach me. Like, don't use your fighting unless you have to, right? And there's a lot of always options to go for before heading to fighting as the last resort, because you can talk your way out of these kind of situations. You can always walk away, but discipline, definitely, it's really controlled me to not release my anger towards somebody in a physical manner, rather just to work it out like a rational human being.
Right. I definitely agree with what you have to say. Like, if you're tempted to fight someone, right?
Yeah.
Maybe in a street case scenario, someone walks up to you, they cause an altercation with you. What do you do? It's better to run away than fight them.
Definitely.
You'd only fight if it's only your last resort, right? So what you said was definitely something I have to agree with. All right. So our next question. What are some of your favorite experiences in martial arts?
Well, like with any sport, right? Everybody wants to win.
Right.
Winning is everything. It's the holy grail of playing sports and just being a karateka. Because, well, I've had my fair share of tournaments, but there's a lot of people that are always better than me. There's this guy Danny Mendoza. He's like the first place, or the Joseph Tolentino of my division.
Yeah.
I've won. There was this one tournament where there were two people in my division. It was me and this short Asian individual.
Gold.
In which, yes, I did get gold in kumite, and I got silver in kata, because he always had the good forms and everything. Does that answer the question?
Yes, definitely. A lot of fighters or martial artists, a lot of their favorite experiences are when they win.
Yes.
When they win, or do something crazy, or maybe they're more serious and maybe they help stand up against a bully.
You learn from your mistakes.
Right.
And if you win, well, you don't have mistakes, right?
Right. You're definitely right with that. Next question. What were some of your worst experiences?
Oh, all right. Well, looking at winning, I would probably say losing is my worst experience. Back when I was younger, probably a yellow belt, or like in the early days of our local tournaments, the ones that we hosted. Probably like one of our first, I'm just gonna say third local tournament. We had a competition, right? And I did not place a medal that I thought I would, and I cried and enraged in protest. Why do I never win?
Right.
Never win. And this experience of losing, it really it made me very uncomfortable. It was just I didn't like losing at the time, because I was younger. I was inexperienced. I was only a yellow belt, and well, I wasn't as mature as I am now.
Right.
And I guess I have a lot of room for reflection on the past, and winning. Like I said, last question. Although I did say winning is everything, it isn't everything. It's about the experience that you get from it. The learning that happens.
But I definitely have to go back with what you said, because it really depends. Perspective is everything. Because if you see losing as like one of my worst experiences, compared to someone who sees losing as a learning experience, right? Sometimes losing is the best thing to become even better,
Yeah.
And I think definitely through maturity, that can be even better. And would you recommend martial arts to others? Why or why not?
Recommending martial arts. Okay, well, like with any sport, right? There's always this field of working with others. You have to open your tolerances to being acceptable of others' opinions and thoughts. Like, for example, a certain kata to bring in a certain tournament, because maybe one tournament might prefer Shuto-ryo.
What is Shuto-ryo?
Shuto-ryo is more of a I'm trying to demonstrate this, physically, but as this isn't on audio, I'll just say this is it's a crisper form, and you have more of rooted stances as opposed to more straight and just planted stances. And
They're more awkward, huh?
they're definitely more awkward to hold. Anyway, where I was going with that is maybe a preference of kata and choosing is one thing that might be disputed upon, and you just have to learn to work together in this team, and like with any team sport that is. And if you're down for this kind of interaction with people, and being in a group that's that has support through cheering in the crowds, along with working with gloves and just having hands-on combat, I would definitely recommend karate to you.
All right. But what about different martial arts?
Different martial arts.
Yes, because every style has its own thing, right?
Definitely, yeah. Taekwondo might focus more on kicking. For me, in karate and Japanese style, it's more of a combination of both just traditional karate and sports karate, and we just mix it in between. It really just depends on your preference and what kind of style that you want to embark upon, because if you see the average movie Karate Kid, right?
Yeah.
that's all what's it called, Wing Chun, right?
Yeah.
Am I right?
Like Yip Man, yeah. Really
They have very traditional forms of karate, and it's more structured.
Yeah. Last two questions. How did you manage school and martial arts? Because I know I definitely struggled with it. And how did you look up to anyone, and what motivated you?
All right, I'll go ahead and answer the first question first. School and karate. Honestly, I found myself to be a lot more studious when I had karate as a second sport on my side, because I don't know if you feel this way, but when I'm more occupied and I've got more things to do, I found myself getting through them a lot quicker and just jumping right to the point, not going and beating around the bush. When it comes to doing my priorities and getting my homework done, I always do that first, and 5:30 to 8 o'clock, it's straight to karate. That's 2 hours and 30 minutes of my time, and plus I've got a Lego afterward. And I definitely look up to the movie portions when it comes to the big figures like Bruce Lee and Ip Man. When you said these are the karate stars that are known. And also there's this guy Joseph Tolentino. He's a top artist in the world.
Yes.
He's an artist of martial arts, and he really paints a picture of fighting with his style. Definitely look up to that.
All right. It's nice to get some input from you, especially since you have a lot of experience in your own background, and you are a black belt. So that definitely puts you in an authoritative manner.
Wow.
Thank you, Michael Penguin. The man, the myth, the legend.
Thank you.
Now, overall, martial arts is a unique sport. And just like all sports, it comes with its own cons, but just like every other sport, it comes with its own pros as well.
So, all in all, martial arts is very, very beneficial, and it shapes us in a way in multiple factors, like the ones we talked about previously, as improving your physicality with exercise within the sport, or maybe a different perspective, the way you view life, like philosophies, and how you apply it to different sports, or perhaps learn more respect or humility, apply that to a classroom environment.
And just like all sports, martial arts comes with its own pros and cons, such as the risk of injury, but at the same time, it'll also help you gain new skills in other sports, the philosophy, its exercises, but on also how it's time consuming. But we definitely wouldn't want you to stray away from martial arts. This has been Chris Inadano.
This is Brad Del-isen.
And thank you for listening to the No Cap Experience. Catch you next week.